Hey everybody, so with the new NHL season quickly approaching here, we've been doing a lot of videos looking ahead to the upcoming year, a lot of season previews and stuff like that, but for today, I want to take a look back on last season and talk about 5 things that I got completely wrong in my predictions or in my thoughts last year, and things that I was completely wrong on. Because believe it or not, I do get stuff wrong, and I actually get stuff wrong a lot. These are certainly not the only 5 things, but these are 5 that stood out to me that I was just way, way off on. And it's always fun to look back on this stuff and have a laugh about it because, yeah, predicting the NHL, predicting how things are going to go is borderline impossible with this league, and everyone is right about some things and wrong about others. So we're going to take a look here at some things that I got wrong and just kind of talk about it and laugh about it a little bit that I was just way, way off on. And the first is Cody Glass. So Cody Glass was a Vegas Golden Knight last year. He's now with the Nashville Predators. And I did a video before last season talking about 5 players that I thought could have breakout years last season in 2021. And Cody Glass was on that list. I mean, Vegas was a team that needed depth down the middle, needed help at center, really didn't have a whole lot there, and really needed a young player to step up, or at least so I thought. And I thought Cody Glass was in a perfect position to do that. And, you know, in his early 20s now, be that guy that kind of moved into a regular NHL spot. That did not happen last season. Glass only played 27 games. He only had 10 points, played just 1 game in the playoffs. Cody Glass did not have a breakout season last year. And this offseason, he's been traded. Nolan Patrick is now going to Vegas. And Vegas sent Cody Glass to Nashville in part of a 3-team trade with Vegas, Nashville, and Philadelphia. So they've kind of given up on Glass at this point. A change of scenery might do him some good. But he certainly did not break out with Vegas, did not have the year last year that I thought he was going to. And Vegas was still able to go to the Final Four last year, even without Cody Glass stepping up in that center role. And with Carlson and Stevenson as their 1-2, they were still good enough to be a Final Four team last season. But I was very wrong about Cody Glass having a breakout year. That did not happen. And we'll see, you know, what he's able to do now in Nashville or in whatnot. But certainly wasn't his year last year. Number 4, the Vancouver Canucks. This was a team that I was super high on heading into last season. After the playoff run that they had in the bubble, I thought they were going to be able to build off that. They were, you know, obviously a very young team with a lot of talent that should be on the ascension, should be taking a new step forward each and every year. Thought Thatcher Demko looked like a guy that could be a top 10 goalie in the league. I actually picked Vancouver to win the North Division last year, and boy, does that look stupid now. They had an abysmal season. Nothing went right for them last year. It was a huge step back for the Canucks. They got ravaged with COVID. They didn't even come close to making the playoffs, let alone winning the division. And it was just all around a horrible year in Vancouver. And honestly, I don't know if they're shaping up for much better this coming season either. I still really like Thatcher Demko. I think he's going to be a very, very good starting goaltender in the NHL. But Vancouver's got some issues. They were terrible defensively last year. I don't really know if they've addressed that enough this offseason. They still don't have Quinn Hughes or Elias Pettersson signed. They're both RFAs that still do not have contracts for this year. That's a huge problem. Vancouver, to me now, is a huge question mark. And, man, I thought they had really taken that next step in the 2020 playoffs in the bubble when, you know, they were able to win a round. They were able to take Vegas, you know, give them a really good, hard-fought series. And I thought this could be a team that's on their way to being contenders. And then last year was just a massive step back and just horrible year for them. So, I was very wrong about Vancouver. They did not take that step forward, and they actually took a big step back last season. Number 3, Pittsburgh missing the playoffs. That's right. If you go back to my predictions last year, I had Pittsburgh missing the playoffs. I thought that last season was finally going to be the year that we saw a step back with the Penguins. That obviously did not happen. And now I am no longer trying to guess when the Penguins or the Capitals are going to take a step back. Because they're two teams that are getting much older, relying heavily on an older core, and have major issues. But it seems like, at least in the regular season, they're always good no matter what. It doesn't seem to matter what issues they have or what their roster looks like. They're always good in the regular season, and Pittsburgh won the East Division last year. Far, far, far from missing the playoffs. Now, when they got to the playoffs, all the questions that I had about Pittsburgh when they got to the playoffs kind of shone through. Goaltending questions, defensive questions. They lost in the first round, but in the regular season, they were your division winner. So, I was very wrong about Pittsburgh missing the playoffs last year. Did not happen. And I'm done trying to guess when the drop-off is going to come for these older teams. It seems like as long as those few core guys are there, they're going to be good, at least in the regular season. Playoffs, that's a totally different story. Pittsburgh has not won a playoff series since 2018. So it's been a while for the Penguins, but regular season-wise, they're still the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they're still winning. So we'll see how it goes this year, but I was very wrong about them last year. Number 2, the Taylor Hall trade to the Boston Bruins. So I did not expect Taylor Hall to have the impact that he did in Boston. I did not expect Taylor Hall to play nearly as well as he did in Boston after that trade. I was never a huge Taylor Hall fan. Thought he was largely overrated for most of his career. He had that one MVP season in New Jersey, but he was never able to really come close to that after that. Obviously, his first part of the year in Buffalo was an absolute disaster. And I wasn't really high on Taylor Hall coming to Boston. I mean, I didn't not like the trade because Boston didn't really give much up for him, but I was not going to be happy if Boston gave up significant pieces to get Taylor Hall. Now, they didn't do that, but I was very, very down on this trade, and I did not expect him to have the impact that he did, that him to play nearly as well as he did, put up the numbers that he did, and I was completely wrong about that. From the get-go, Taylor Hall was an absolute hit in Boston, and now I am super happy for him to be back on a 4-year deal. Really, really happy for him to be in the lineup, and the second line was significantly improved from the moment Taylor Hall was brought in and put on that left wing with David Krejci in the middle and Craig Smith on the right. Obviously, Krejci's not back this coming year for the Bruins, but Taylor Hall is perfectly capable of driving that line, and he's a great player, and he played extremely well for the Bruins after the trade last year, and way, way, way better than I thought he was going to be, and now I have completely switched. I am super happy that he's in Boston, excited for his 4-year deal, and can't wait to see what he does over the course of a full year in Boston. But I was very wrong at the time about that trade, and he ended up being an absolute hit for the Bruins, and really, really happy to have him here now. Finally, the number one thing, and this is hilarious and unbelievable. Last year, in my prediction video, I predicted the Philadelphia Flyers to win the East Division. I thought Philadelphia was going to build off the run that they had in the bubble, how well they played in the playoffs up in 2020. Obviously, they ran into the Islanders and lost a very hard-fought series against New York, but I thought they were going to build off that. They made it to the second round. They were, looking like an ascending team, really talented roster, Carter Hart in goal, and I thought that they were going to take that next step and win the division this past year and really try and build off that and try and make a run at the Cup. I think it's safe to say the Philadelphia Flyers did not come close to winning the division. Not only did they not come close to winning the division, they didn't even really come that close to making the playoffs. They had a horrible, abysmal, atrocious, whatever word you want to use, season last year. Just absolute disappointment. I would say probably the biggest disappointment in the NHL last season. Carter Hart really struggled. The team defense in general was absolutely horrendous. They were the worst defensive team in the league. And just everything was a disaster for the Philadelphia Flyers last year. So I was very, very wrong about them. Very wrong about how good they were going to be. And they really weren't even close. And obviously they've made a lot of changes this offseason. And they're trying to get back on track and trying to get back to being that contender. But for last year, I was dead wrong about Philadelphia, as were a lot of people, and they were not even close to being the level of team that I thought they were going to be. But there you go, everybody. There are 5 things that I got wrong last season, and this is always kind of fun to look back on and have a laugh about, because boy, was I completely off on a number of things last year. And I'm sure that this year I'll get stuff wrong again, as I always do. And as everyone always does, because the NHL is a very hard league to predict. It's a very hard league to kind of know what's going to happen. And there are crazy things that happen each and every year. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed kind of having a chance to make fun of me and look back on things that I got wrong last year. And we'll see how it goes this year with some of my predictions, but I'm sure I'll be doing another video like this at the end of this coming season about things that I got wrong for this year. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our merch store, memberships, and donation link are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.